My name's Tim. I was one of the founders of Circus Oz in 1978, and I've been there pretty much ever since, performing and playing in the band and putting tents up and down, designing rigging, that kind of stuff. We wanted to make a kind of popular theatre, and we got into the circus because the circus already existed as a form of popular theatre. It was something for everybody that, people from all kinds of bits of society, would go to the circus. We worked in traditional circuses and learned things like high wire and tight wire and juggling and stuff like that. We just wanted to start a circus that was new. It was different from, the old circus, which we thought was old-fashioned, I guess. There's a big live music culture here, and so it was trying to get that mixed with the kind of political theatre and fringe theatre culture that had started in the Pram Factory in Carlton. So we got the idea of putting these two groups together. Australia, there was a whole bunch of what you would normally call traditional circuses, I suppose. There was very strong sense that they came from a tradition of travelling. I mean, they put tents up in country towns. So a lot of the flavour was the sort of bush, Aussie sort of flavour. We came from the city, we lived in the city. We, went to pubs and watched rock and roll bands, 4 nights a week, and did all the other things that you do. And I guess we wanted to do a show that was more like that. And there was also a bit of a thread about taking Australian culture to the world. So. When Circus Oz started, by then I was doing a high wire act. Stood on my head and rode a unicycle, and I did a hand balancing act doing handstands on a stack of 7 chairs on a table with various bits of comedy in between. I did an act where I walked upside down on the roof. I did a bit of pyramids and balances and not very much juggling. I got kicked out of the juggling act really early on. And I played the trumpet in the band, played tuba in the band. That was it, really. It's funny because it was very hard work in a lot of ways, touring and being away from home and all of that. It's kind of relentless. But then by the same token, it sort of has joys in it that aren't in, a kind of mundane living at home sort of life. And I just got used to this kind of life that involves quite a lot of travel, but it's always travel for work, which means it's different from travelling as a tourist. When I started it, I wasn't looking to doing overseas tours. It wasn't what I wanted to do it for. Travelled to many, many, many different places in the world. Sometimes it gets really kind of lonely. There's been tours when there's been, nobody who I would say was kind of special friends with. You can end up being kind of a bit isolated. But also, I've certainly got used to doing that, and and so it's been great. I've been to lots of places.
The audience is, in the end, the only reason for doing it, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, it's putting on shows for people is what we're doing. Wouldn't be doing it for myself, I don't suppose. I mean, obviously I've made lots of friends along the way. Sometimes it was fabulous.